Good day, ma'am. We are the Group 2 and our topic is all about the integrative coding.
What is integrative coding? Integrative coding is a software development approach that combines different components to create a cohesive and functional system. It means integrative coding is maoy isa ka software nga buhaton nga gamitan og lain-lain nga components para mo-function ang isa ka system. Integrative coding, it means maoy usa ka pamaagi sa pagbuhat or pagdevelop sa usa ka software ginagamitan siya sa lain-laing components para mo-function ang usa ka system nga buhaton. It involves integrating various coding elements such as APIs and libraries and framework to build a robust and scalable application. API means are set of rules and protocols that allow different software applications to communicate with each another. And the library are a collection of pre-written code that developers can use to perform specific tasks or function. And the framework, on the other hand, are the set of tools, libraries, and guidelines that provide a structure and approach to software development. This is a technique that enables dynamic website application development through the integration of programming and markup language into one. For example, HTML with XML, JavaScript and CSS, XML with PHP and C# with XML and XML with XLST, and so on to meet the interactive and specific dynamic and user requirements. You will also learn how to represent structure and how to transport data using XML and XML-related technology and protocols.
Pattern designing refers to the process of creating a blueprint or template for a garment or textile item. In pattern designing is naay duha ka combination na involved, which is the artistic creativity and technical skill, and it plays an essential role in the fashion industry and other related fields. Support object-oriented reuse at a high level of abstraction, provide a framework or a set of components that collaborate that guides and constrains object-oriented implementation. In other words, design patterns are reusable solutions to common problems in software design. They are not specific code but rather general principles and guidelines that can be applied to different situations and languages. Organizing design patterns. The Gang of Four Design Patterns book describes 20 to 3 patterns are arranged into 3 groups. These 3 groups help classify how the patterns are used. First, creational pattern. Used to help make a system independent of how its objects are created, composed, and represented. Second, structural pattern. Are concerned with how classes and objects are organized and composed to build larger objects. Structural patterns provide ways to create relationship between objects and define how they interact with each other to achieve a specific functionality. Third, behavioral patterns are used to deal with the assignment of responsibilities to objects and communication between objects. This pattern defines how objects collaborate and interact to accomplish tasks, ensuring that the system behaves in a coordinate and efficient manner.
Creational patterns. Creational patterns are like recipes for creating objects in software development. They provide solutions to common problems encountered during object or creation, making the process more flexible and efficient. So in these patterns, these tools in a Builder Toolkit. They provide efficient ways to create and organize objects, contributing to a more scalable and maintainable code base. By understanding and applying these patterns, the developer can streamline the object creation process and enhance the overall design of their software. So in other terms, creational design patterns in programming are like smart blueprints for creating objects. They help us build objects in a way that organized, flexible, and efficient. The subdivision of creational patterns. First is abstract factory. Create instances of other people. So in these patterns provides an interface for creating families and related or dependent objects without specifying their concrete classes. So in this pattern would involve creating not just our programs but also the related parts of it. So for example of this paramapa sabot sometimes is like a car. So ang car dili lang ta mo base sa buo niya sa car kundi apil na ang iyang parts like engine, tires and etc. Para ma-sure na to nga ang atong created objects kay compatible sa katupod sa main nga like sa car main man siya ang car, so ang iyahang mga parts is like ang engine, so compatible ba siya or mugana ba siya. So the second is factor method, common interface for creating subclasses. So in this pattern defines an interface for creating an object but lets subclasses alter the types of objects that will be created. Example of this is pizza restaurant. They have a common order interface but each franchise can create different types of pizzas. So example ani is sa ato alang is Northern Lights. So dagan sila og nagabuhat sila pizza pero lahi-lahi og mga kuan lahi og names like Hawaiian, like nana. So mo na ang factory method patterns. Undili dili ingon nga pizza is pizza lang kundi naa siya lain nga mga lain nga mga names or franchise. Third is singleton. Create only one instance of a class. So, singleton pattern ensures that a class has only one instance and provides a global point of access to it. So, example ani is ang ato ang program access files. So, ang atong access files is atong i-send sa mga users. So, ikaw ang so example ako ang kuan kanang like kining admin or manager. So, kung dili, only ako lang ang maka-access adto, pero daghan, wala na gimind ang daghan nga mga users. Kung dili, ang owner lang or ang manager lang only. So, let's move to the second design patterns, structural patterns. So, structural design patterns are a category of design patterns that focus on simplifying the organization and composition of complex systems by defining clear relationship between different components. These patterns help in creating a flexible and efficient structure of class and objects. First is decorator. Add more responsibilities to an object dynamically. So, in this pattern allows behavior to be added to individual objects either statically or dynamically without affecting the behavior of other objects from the same class. It is often used to extend the functionalities of classes in flexible and reusable way. So ang kani siyang pattern or design is mao ni siya ang makapa-extend sa atong program. So this is the example of decorator patterns. So, by stacking decorators, you can combine functionalities in a flexible way. They allows you to create different combinations of behaviors or runtime without altering the original classes. The decorators adhere to the open or closed principles, making it easy to extend functionality without modifying existing code. The second one is FAKID, higher level unified interface to a set of objects in subsystem. It provides a simplified interface to set of interfaces in a subsystem. It defines a higher level interface that makes the subsystem easier to use. The main idea is to present a unified and simplified interface to a set of interfaces in a subsystem, making it easier for clients to interact with the subsystem without having to understand its complexity. So sa kani nga example is ginagamit siya sa mga like prototype, like sa ato ang amo ang gihimo karon nga sa ato ang gihimo karon nga car is magamit ni siya like mga engine start, engine stop, lights turn on and lights turn off. So then the Fickett pattern is useful when you have a complex subsystem and you want to provide a simplified interface for common tasks, reducing the dependencies and making the system more manageable for clients. Third one is proxy interface layer between objects. So in these patterns allows you to attach new behaviors to objects by placing their objects inside a special wrapper classes that contains the new behaviors. It is used to extend the functionalities of individual objects without altering their structures. So allowing you to combine functionalities in a flexible and usable way. It follows the open or close principle, allowing you to add new behaviors without modifying existing code. So, paribero sa decorator nga kaning magawan siya o combine functionalities. Ang kalahian lang is ang decorator is add more responsibility siya or add siya sa program, like ang proxy interface is kuan siya kanang extend gyapon siya, but kuan siya kanang duha siya nga ma-compare between the objects. The last one is behavioral patterns. Behavioral design patterns are concerned with how objects interact and communicate each other. They focus on the patterns of communication between objects, encapsulating responsibilities and providing flexibility in the delegate of tasks. Subdivision of behavioral patterns. First is iterator, a means to access all the elements of an object sequentially. It is a way to access the elements of a collection sequentially without exposing the underlying details of the collection. It defines a common interface for traversing the different types of collections. So, the iterator pattern simplifies the client code by providing a consistent way to iterate over different types of collections. It promotes a clean separation between the collection and the transversal logic. The second one is momento. Capture and save the current state of an object. It provides the ability to capture and externalize an object's internal state so that the object can be restored to this state later. It allows an object to be stored to its previous state without exposing its internal structure. So, this is the example of momento. The momento patterns allows the originator to capture its eternal state into a momento object, which is in a store by the caretaker. Later, the originator can restore its state from a specific momento when needed. This patterns is useful in scenarios where you need to implement undo mechanism, versioning system, or any situation where you want to capture and restore the state of an object. The last one is observer, when any number of objects are notified automatically. It is known as the subject, maintains a list of the dependents known as observers that are notified or any state changes, typically by calling one of their methods. This pattern establishes a one-to-many relationship between the subject and its observer, allowing multiple objects to listen and react to change in the subject state. So in this pattern is ginagamit siya sa kanang program like one-to-many. Example, ang client nag-order. So ang order giadto sa chef, then ang pagkahuman sa luto sa chef is ang order giadto sa waiter. Then pag abot sa sa waiter, ang order gi-interface siya sa command. Bali ang order is a command. Then this pattern is commonly used in implementing distributed event handling system where an object maintains a list of dependents. Ang dependents is ang observer that are interested in its state changes. It promotes loose coupling between objects, making it easier to extend and maintain system. So, sa ato ang database is mao gid ni siya ginagamit kasagaraan one-to-many relationship.
Pattern category, structural, meaning in life. These patterns are concerned with how classes and objects can be composed to obtain new functionality. Classic patterns of this category: adapter, bridge, composite, decorator, facade, flyweight, and proxy. Pattern category, cultural, meaning in life. These patterns have to do with how objects are instantiated into memory, typically in an attempt to simplify their creation. Classic pattern of this category: abstract, factory, builder factory, method, prototype, and singleton. Pattern category, behavioral, meaning in life. These patterns are concerned with communication between objects. Classic patterns of this category: chain of responsibility, command, interpreter, iterator, mediator, memento, observer, state, and strategy.
The interface. Interface allows you to specify what method should implement. Interface make it easy to use variety of different classes in the same way. When one or more classes use the same interface, it is referred to as polymorphism. The interface keyword can be used to specify its methods. Properties, endeavors, and events can all be declared. It cannot, however, contain fields or auto-implemented properties. The example of the interface. The comparable interface in Java used for comparing objects. And the ID is possible interface in C++ used for releasing resources. And the action listener interface in Java Swing handle user action. Benefits of the interface. Interface promote loose coupling, allowing classes to be easily swapped or extended without affecting other parts of the code base. They facilitate abstraction, hiding implementation details, and promoting code maintainability. The interface also promotes code reusability as multiple classes can implement the same interface.
Interface versus abstract classes. Interface is an abstract type that is used to declare a behavior that classes must implement. Abstract classes is a class that is declared abstract. It may or may not include abstract method. Interface is similar to abstract classes. The differences between interfaces and abstract classes are: interfaces cannot have properties, while abstract classes can. Interface focus on defining contract and specifying method signatures, while abstract classes provide a combination of method, declaration, and implementations, including the ability to have properties. All interface methods must be public, while abstract classes method is public or protected. Both interface and abstract classes are used to define contract or blueprint for classes. They provide a way to define methods that must be implemented by the classes that inherit from them. All methods in an interface are abstract, so they cannot be implemented in code, and the abstract keyword is not necessary.
So here is the example. The code starts with the interface definitions for animals. The interface is named animals and it does not contain any methods or the properties. So there are three class definitions. We have cat, dog, and mouse. So this class implement the animals interface, which means they must define the method specified in the interface. So the cat class has a method called make sound which echo meow. Similarly, the dog class has a make sound method that echo bark. And the mouse class has a make sound methods that echo squeak. So an array is created to store instant of an animal's classes. One instant of each class is created and added to the array. So a for each loop is used to iterate over each animals in the array. So for each animals, the make sound method is called which will output the corresponding sound for that animal. Let's talk about inheritance. Inheritance in Java is a mechanism in which one object acquires all the properties and behaviors of a parent object. It is an important part of object-oriented programming. The idea behind inheritance in Java is that you can create new classes that are built upon existing class. When you inherit from an existing class, you can reuse methods and fields of a parent class. Moreover, you can add new methods and fields in your current class. Inheritance represents is a relationship which is also known as a parent or child relationship. So, inheritance, in other words, is legacy. Just like kung mag-create tag sa code in different programming language, there are two or more class nga mag-inherit sa attributes and methods to reuse the superclass which is the parent class. And it is also add new methods and attributes in your current class which is the subclass or child class. Why use inheritance in Java? Used for method overriding is also known as runtime polymorphism. Hence, we can achieve polymorphism in Java with the help of inheritance. And used for code reusability. The code that is present in the parent class can be directly used by the child class. Terms used in inheritance. Class. A class is a group of objects which have common properties. It is a template or blueprint from which objects are created. Subclass or child class. Subclass is a class that inherits the other class. It is also called a derived class, extended class, or child class. Superclass or parent class. Superclass is a class from where a subclass inherits the features. It is also called a base class or parent class. And reusability. As the name specifies, reusability is a mechanism that facilitates you to reuse the fields and methods of the existing class when you create a new class. You can use the same fields and methods already defined in the previous class.
The syntax of Java inheritance is the extend keyword indicates that you are making a new class that derives from an existing class. The meaning of extend is to increase the functionality. In the terminology of Java, a class which is inherit is called a parent or superclass, and the new class is called child or subclass. Java inheritance example. As displayed in the figure, programmer is the subclass and employee is the superclass. The relationship between the two classes is a programmer is a type of employee. In this example, programmer object can access the field of own class as well as the employee code reusability. There are three types of inheritances in Java. On the basis of class, there can be three types of inheritance in Java: single, multi-level, and hierarchical. In Java programming, multiple and hybrid inheritance is supported through interface. There are three types of inheritance in Java: the single inheritance, multi-level inheritance, and hybrid. A single inheritance is when a class inherits another class. It is known as a single inheritance. In the example given below, dog class inherits the animal class, so there is a single inheritance. The second is the multi-level inheritance. When there is a chain of inheritance, it is known as multi-level inheritance. As you can see in the example given below, baby dog class inherits the dog class, which again inherits the animal class. So there is a multi-level inheritance or a chain of inheritance, because in a single class, it's only dog class inherit the animal class. And in a multi-level class, it has a baby dog class inherits from a dog class, which is again from the animal class. So it calls a multi-level or chain of inheritance. That's what we all, and thank you.